The original affluent society. What generalizations can we make about life in the pre-agricultural world? Nevertheless, it seems safe to say that the vast majority of people lived in small bands numbering several dozen or at most several hundred individuals. And that all these individuals were humans. It is important to note this last point because it is far from obvious. Most members of the agricultural and industrial societies are domesticated animals. They are not equal to their masters, of course, but they are members all the same. Today, the society, called New Zealand, is composed of 4.5 million sapiens and 50 million sheep. There was just one exception to this general rule: the dog. The dog was the first animal domesticated by Homo sapiens. And this occurred before the agricultural revolution. Experts disagree about the exact date, but we have incontrovertible evidence of domesticated dogs from about 15,000 years ago. May have joined the human pack thousands of years earlier, though. Dogs were used for hunting and fighting, and as an alarm system against wild beasts and human intruders. With the passing of generations, the two species co-evolved to communicate well with each other. Dogs that were most attentive to the needs and feelings of their human companions got extra care and food and were more likely to survive. Simultaneously, dogs learned to manipulate people for their own needs. A 15,000-year bond has yielded a much deeper understanding and affection between humans and dogs than between humans and any other animal. In some cases, dead dogs were even buried ceremoniously, much like humans. Before we move on, I would like you guys to hit a pause and please subscribe to the channel. It's free of cost and you can always change your mind. And we also have a lot of content in our pipeline. So please subscribe to the channel once again. And yes, what a way to start the Booktube journey yet again with an extract from the most awaited genre, the science segments. The very first books that we touched upon on this channel. And it's the man, an Israeli, that has shaped the way modern science views history. It's also some call the scientific epitome of writing. And it's me, Prithu Shandalya, the co-founder of Booktube, back after a long time. I hope you're up to date with the socials. The links will be up on your screen and also the video description. And I hope you guys are following us through this. Now let's move on to the second extract from this book. Imagined communities. Like the nuclear family, the community could not completely disappear from our world without any emotional replacement. Markets and states today provide most of the material needs once provided by communities. But they must also supply tribal bonds. Markets and states do so by fostering imagined communities that contain millions of strangers and which are tailored to national and commercial needs. An imagined community is a community of people who don't really know each other, but imagine that they do. Such communities are not a novel invention. Kingdoms, empires, churches functioned for millennia as imagined communities. In ancient China, though, tens of millions of people saw themselves as members of a single family, with the emperor as its father. In the Middle Ages, millions of devout Muslims imagined that they were all brothers and sisters in the great community of Islam. Yet, throughout history, such imagined communities played second fiddle to intimate communities of several dozen people who knew each other very well. The intimate communities fulfilled the emotional needs of the members and were essential for everyone's survival and welfare. In the last 2 centuries, though, the intimate communities have withered away, leaving imaginate communities to fill in the emotional vacuum. And the 2 most important examples for the rise of such imagined communities are the nation and the consumer tribe. The nation is the imagined community of the state, while the consumer tribe is the imagined community of the market. Both are imagined communities because it is impossible for all consumers in the market, for all members of a nation, to know everything about each other or everything about every villager that they reside with. No German can intimately know the other 80 million members of the German nation or the other 500 million customers inhabiting the European Common Market, the ECM, which evolved first into the European Community and finally became the European Union. And that's the problem with consumerism. And we come to an end of this session with an extract from this book. And I think you must have guessed the book already. Yes, it is The Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. First published in Hebrew in Israel in 2011, based on a series of lectures Harari taught at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and in English in 2014. The book, focusing on Homo sapiens, surveys the history of humankind, starting from the Stone Age and going up to the 21st century. The account is situated within a framework that intersects the natural sciences with the social sciences. The book has gathered mixed reviews. While it was positively received by the general public, scholars with relevant subject matter expertise have been very critical of its scientific and historical claims. But nevertheless, it's a must read and a top in my list as well. Now don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and please stick with this channel. And thank you for sticking with me throughout the session. It has been a long time, but yes, we'll be more consistent with uploads. Stay tuned and keep enjoying books. A happy week ahead from my side. Cheers and namaste.